You know, there are so many different ways you can repair clothes. This particular case, my client brought the skirt to me and it's got that frayed end on the bottom, which means of course that there's nothing to stop it from tearing, which is exactly what happened. She brought me one of those iron-on patches that you can get. Look, truly, I hate them. The reason I don't like them is because when you iron them on, if you do have to do any stitching, generally what will happen is that that glue will coat your needles and ruin your needles, or you know, you can try and clean your needles of course, but you know, so I just stay away from that stuff altogether. You can use Visifex, that's a better option, and you know, the needles don't get coated when you use Visifex for repairs. But what I said to her was, look, is it too tight? And she said, no, it's not at all. And I said, well, could we afford to lose, you know, like 1.5 centimeters or 2 centimeters? And she said that that would be fine. So I just recommended that I run a dart all the way up and then overlock the edge and then double machine stitch. So that's exactly what I did. Now when you're doing an imitation stitch for denim, the best thing to do is to run 2 threads. I'm showing you there, I've got the big black thread with the pink reel at the back, and then I've got a small black reel at the front, and I just run it that way because I use the large 5,000 reel threads at the back. I use 1 thread in the bobbin. You don't need 2 because I sew what I call topside. And you need to use a 9014 denim needle. You'll notice too, I just use tweezers to thread it. It's a lot easier, and the denim needle is great too because it's got a bigger eye and it's easier to thread the 2 threads through it. So this is the easy bit, and all you need to do here is leave enough seam allowance so that when you do the second row of stitching that it's going to catch the edge of that seam allowance and hold it down. So I've just fast forwarded because you know it's pretty straightforward. When you come up to the end with any dart, don't taper off quickly. Come across slowly towards the folded section so that your dart tapers off, and then you don't get that buckle that you see happen when some people do that. I'm just overlocking off the edge here. The only thing that I've done here too is I use a loop turner to get the tail of that overlocking tucked away rather than clipping it. I probably could have clipped it because this is frayed, but I like to finish everything off nice and neatly. And now this is where the 2 rows of stitching come into play, and we're having those 2 threads coming from the top work. So I'm starting at the bottom purely because I want to go up to the top of the dart and determine where I'm going to finish. I do apologize for the darkness of this video, but you just want to try and stitch the same as the other top stitch seams. You know, it's just a little bit in from the fold, and then come back. Now use a reference point for the second row of stitching. In this case it's what I'd call a wide double machine stitch. So I'm going to line up the edge of my foot, or sorry, the center of the foot with the first row of stitching, and then just keep my eye on that, and as long as I keep my eye on that first row of stitching in position on the foot, then I'm going to get that even all the way up. And there's the finished. Certainly it's not stone washed like the other one is, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a lot better than having a darn section all over that skirt. My client was very, very happy with the way it was finished, and I only charged her $15 to do that because to me that was just a really quick, easy job. This is one of the public videos that I put out for people for free, but I do have very extensive videos on how to do clothes alterations on ready-made clothes in my online tutorial Magic Circle. So if you're interested in that, it is an exclusive membership and you'll find details for that at jeanniecentre.com. Happy altering!